Hey, what's going on, guys? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Lenovo Chromebook Duet. And I've been super excited to get my hands on this. It actually took a while to ship out. And if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know I do a lot of reviews on Android tablets, but I've never picked up a Chrome OS tablet, mainly because I haven't found one that piques my interest until now with the Lenovo Chromebook Duet. Okay, so the base price on the Duet is $279.99. That's for the 64GB model. They also offer a 128GB model at $299. That's what I have here. It was the only one that I could find online. And personally, I would recommend this one because we now have the Android ecosystem built into these Chromebooks, and you're going to want that extra storage. So the first thing I noticed straight out of the box is the build quality. This thing looks like a premium tablet. I've done a lot of reviews on premium and low-end tablets, and Lenovo has been shining through with their tablets lately, at least in the build quality department. So along with the 10.1 inch Duet tablet, you're also going to receive some extra accessories that make this a real Chromebook. Now, this comes with the 64GB model or the 128GB model, and we'll get to those in a second, but first up, we get a wall charger, our USB Type-C charging and sync cable, and we also get a USB Type-C to 3.5mm audio jack. Unfortunately, there is no headphone jack built into the tablet, so you will have to use this adapter over USB Type-C. Now, Lenovo is calling this a Chromebook, and what you've seen so far is just the tablet portion of the whole unit. But they've also included a detachable kickstand and a detachable keyboard to make this a true Chromebook. And when it's all put together, it'll look something like this. It has that fabric backing on it, and personally, I really like the way this feels and looks. The keyboard is really nice. It's got a decently sized trackpad, given that we have a 10.1 inch tablet here. Key travel is great, but this keyboard did take a little bit of time to get used to because the keys are so close together. I'm used to typing on a full-size keyboard. You might already have something like this that you've been using, so you'd be used to it right out of the box. But for me, it did take a little while to get used to. Other than that, it works great. But one of the downsides about adding all of these accessories to the tablet itself is, as you can see, it makes it a bit thick. So personally, I'm really into the tablet aspect of this, and if it's sitting on the desk, it's fine with that kickstand up, but if I want to carry this around, I'm not going to add all of these accessories. So like I mentioned, for the tablet itself, the build quality is amazing. This has that dual tone. It's ice blue and iron gray. I think it looks amazing. It's got that metal back here, and they've also thrown in an 8-megapixel camera on the rear. It does have built-in dual stereo speakers, and this is not on par with, let's say, the Galaxy Tab S6 in audio quality or even the iPad Pro, but overall, for a $300 tablet, I think these sound amazing. The tablet uses USB Type-C Gen 2 for charging and sync, so you're going to charge this up with the 10-watt adapter that's included with the tablet, but it also supports video out. So if you have a USB Type-C to HDMI adapter, you can mirror this on a big screen very easily. Moving over to the specs, for the CPU, we have the MediaTek Helio P60T. This is an octa-core CPU, 4 A73 cores at 2 GHz and 4 A53 cores at 2 GHz. 90% of the time when we're talking about Chromebooks, they use an x86 CPU, be it Intel or AMD, but here they're utilizing an ARM CPU to keep the cost down and power consumption down. The GPU is the Mali G72 MP3 at 800 MHz. We have 4 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM. Like I said, you can get these in two variants, 64GB of storage and 128GB of storage. Unfortunately, it does not offer a micro SD card option, so you're going to be stuck with what you have. The screen on the Duet is actually really nice. It's a 10.1 inch IPS display at 1920 by 1200 with 400 nits of brightness, so this thing does get pretty bright. The aspect ratio is actually 16 by 10, so no matter what, when you're using Chrome OS, if you're in landscape or portrait mode, everything looks correct on the screen. It's got a 7,000 mAh battery, and they're claiming 10 plus hours of usage. It's obviously running Chrome OS, and we do have access to Android apps, which is a big plus for a tablet like this. They actually work really well, and we'll be testing out a bunch in this video. 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, so you can pick up that 5 GHz network, Bluetooth 4.0, USB Type-C, we also have that video out like I mentioned, and dual stereo speakers that support Dolby Atmos. And here's a look at the unit, fully assembled. We have the kickstand cover and the keyboard attached. It's definitely on the thicker side of things when everything's attached, but it does attach quite well. On the back here, we have that kickstand. It's magnetically attached and it's not going anywhere. I mean, you can hold this thing upside down and shake it. So it's very secure, and if you need to detach it, you just lift it from here and it comes right off. So with the Duet running Chrome OS, there's actually two modes here. We have tablet mode, which makes it a lot easier to use just as a tablet. And if we attach the keyboard, it'll go to keyboard mode. And basically, this is what every other little Chromebook or Chrome laptop looks like. And with everything attached here, I mean, it feels just like any other Chromebook would. The keyboard and the trackpad work fine with the Duet. We do have gestures built in for the trackpad, and it's touchscreen, so if you just want to navigate with your finger, you can always do that also. So here we are in strictly tablet mode, and I gotta say this screen looks absolutely amazing for being a $300 tablet, or $280 if you go with the lower end model. So along with Chrome OS, we also have access to the Google Play Store so we can download Android apps. Now, I do want to mention this. Some people will think about buying this over an Android tablet. If you're looking for a strictly Android tablet, I would go with something like the Galaxy Tab S6 Lite. But if you absolutely have to have Chrome OS built in for school or work, this is a great option. Along with Chrome OS and the ability to run Android apps, we can also access Linux apps. If you go into the settings, you can enable the beta of Linux on Chrome OS, and overall it actually works really well here. I was worried about it at first, but you got to keep in mind that this is an ARM CPU, so if there's a certain Linux app that you need to run and it does not work on ARM, it's not going to work here. There has to be an ARM HF version, like GIMP here. This does work on ARM CPUs, and it actually works quite well on the Duet. So this is a full-fledged open source image editor, and a majority of the Linux apps that are going to run on this were designed to use a keyboard and mouse, so you might want to have your trackpad and keyboard ready. So whenever I do a review on a tablet, I like to run some benchmarks and test out some games. Now, if you're already accustomed to using a Chromebook for work or school, this is going to fit right in. You'll have no trouble using it. It is Chrome OS, we just have a touch interface when the keyboard's detached. So the first benchmark I ran was Geekbench 5. This is strictly testing the CPU out. Over on the left, we have the Duet. Over on the right, we have a similarly priced tablet, the new Tab S6 Lite. I think it comes in at $329, so it is a bit more expensive, and it's strictly Android. On the Duet, for single core, we scored a 263, multi-core 932. If we take a look at the Tab S6 Lite, we did score a bit higher. And keep in mind, this is Geekbench 5. The scores on this definitely look low when you compare it to Geekbench 4, but over on the Tab S6 Lite, we did get a pretty good jump in single core and multi-core performance. So when it comes to a CPU-intensive task, the Tab S6 Lite will beat out the Lenovo Duet. So the test I just ran was Geekbench 5. This tests CPU performance, but what about GPU performance? As it turns out, both of these tablets have the exact same GPU. The Mali G72 MP3 clocked at 800 MHz. The test I used for this was 3D Mark Slingshot Extreme. We're only able to test OpenGL on the Duet because it's not supporting Vulkan. We scored a 1,105, and over on the Tab S6 Lite, we scored a 1,547, and we also have Vulkan support, and that'll definitely help out in games that support Vulkan. But as you can see, the Tab S6 Lite beat out the Duet once again. So when you're done with work and school, or even during work and school, you might want to view some videos using your favorite streaming app. You can install Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and all kinds of different apps through the Google Play Store. Here I have Netflix, and unfortunately this is the phone version of Netflix. It's not the big HD version. Still, it looks great, and playback is fine as long as you have a decent internet connection. I'm connected to my 5 GHz network, and everything seems to work great here. Earlier in the video, I showed off some YouTube video playback through the Chrome browser, but this is the Android app, and there is one issue that I'm running into right now. I'm sure this will be fixed down the road, but right now if I want to resume a video, it goes to a black screen. I kind of have to drag it back a little bit, and then it starts playing perfectly fine. Audio's working when the black screen's up, but unfortunately that video just isn't showing up when I try to resume. One thing I was actually really excited about in getting this tablet was testing out some native Android gaming on this unit. Since we have the Google Play Store and most apps will install and work fine on the Duet, I figured we'd go ahead and give that a test. Here we have Minecraft Pocket Edition. I'm using the beta version so I can see the FPS. I'm set to 10 chunks and I have fancy graphics off. When I just blew up all of that dynamite, we went down to around 20 FPS. But most of the time we're around 50 to 60 at 10 chunks with fancy graphics off. In my opinion, Minecraft Pocket Edition is fully playable on the Duet. Next up, we have King of Fighters All-Stars. I personally love this game, minus the in-app purchases, but I still play it. I don't buy anything. Overall, on low-end hardware, this really struggles to play perfectly. And unfortunately, on the Duet, I did have to turn it down to low to get a decent frame rate, and even then, I noticed a little bit of stuttering here and there. And to tell you the truth, I believe the Duet does have enough power to play this game perfectly, even on high settings. They just really need to optimize this one. Next up, we have Call of Duty Mobile, and this is definitely playable on the Duet. This is a very well optimized game. It works really good on low-end Android tablets I've tested in the past, so I was pretty sure we'd have good luck with this one. I do have the settings on medium, but it's really not taking anything away from the game itself. And by the way, I am using touch controls with all of these games, but if you want to connect a controller, it'll work fine. I recommend an Xbox One controller over Bluetooth. So I got to give it to Lenovo here. My first impressions of the Duet are pretty good. I'm actually really impressed with the design and the performance of this little tablet, given the price of $280 to $300. Now, I love the portability factor as a tablet. The screen looks great, it's got awesome sound, and we also have Android built in, which a lot of the apps that I tested actually function really good. But again, I do have to mention it, if you're looking for strictly Android and you don't need Chrome for work or school, do not pick this up. But if you have to have Chrome OS installed and you're looking for a cheap solution, I think this is an awesome little deal here. And so far, in all actuality, my only complaint here is the thickness when you have everything put together. I mean, it's definitely not a tablet anymore, but with the accessories removed, this is an awesome slim little design. And I can definitely recommend something like this if you're looking for a highly portable Chrome OS tablet or laptop. I think it's a pretty decent deal here. I would actually like to come back to this in a few days, but I do want some input from users who really use Chrome OS. I'm not a hardcore Chrome OS user. I do have a Chromebook that I mess around with every once in a while. So if you're a Chrome OS user, just let me know in the comments below what you would like to see running on this in the next video. I'd like to see how it stacks up to a comparable $300 x86 Chromebook, and I do have one that I can test against it. So just let me know in the comments, but that's pretty much it for this one. I'm going to leave a few links in the description in case you want to learn more about the Duet, but like always, thanks for watching.